Hi guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's me again, your girl Kamis. Please, if you've not subscribed to my channel, kindly hit that button and also turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I do a video. So you guys, getting a Swedish permanent residence, it's getting harder by the day. Remember, there's a video that I did about the requirements of you getting a work permit. That has changed, and if you analyze everything, you will see that it's actually harder than before, because the Swedish migration is now harder on the employer, and we all know that if things are harder for the employer, then they are not ready to be taking foreigners or somebody that is outside Sweden to give them work because of the requirements, especially with the issue of the contracts, the issue of the insurance. Like, you have to be fully covered. So today, now I'm gonna talk about having a Swedish residence now, the requirements actually, which will start from next year according to the news. I've been reading news and I've been waiting, and then the other day at a conference, the Minister of Migration and Integration, Mr. Anders, says that they want to impose language requirements and also social studies before you could get a Swedish resident permit. So it's not only language, it's also social sciences requirement, social studies. So when he was talking, he said that a lot of people come to Sweden and they start working. Some go and study Swedish, but there are still a number of people that don't get the chance to go to school and and study this language to a certain level. And I understand, because I as a foreigner, I know many people that when they come and they get the opportunity of working, they'll be like, hey, I'm looking for money, I have responsibilities, I have family back home, I have dreams, I have plans, I have these, and maybe they have never even gotten the opportunity to work and get a good salary, and they decide like, money, because everybody's looking for money. So I understand that bit, that some people actually prioritize going to work, making money first before going to school, like for the language. But now it seems that that is going to change very soon, because according to the article I was reading, because I've been checking different information, it's like from next year, May 2023, you need to read Swedish, which is called SFE, Swedish for foreigners, Svenska for invandrare, until level C. We have A, B, C until level C. Then that makes you now qualified to get a Swedish permanent resident permit. Remember that if you come to Sweden, maybe it depends how you come. They will give you 2 years, then they'll give you 3 years, which makes 5 years, and then after those 5 years, then you will now get a permanent resident. If you're doing a work permit, you get 2 years, they give you 3 years, which make 5 years, and then after that you get your Swedish permanent resident. But now the language, hey, and a lot of people run away from Swedish language. I remember that when I came to Sweden, I entered inside the train and I was like, what are they saying? I was lost, guys. I won't lie to you. I will never forget this day. This is the picture that I always have in my mind. I was like, no, this is impossible. Like, everything sounded so strange, and I was like, I felt outside. I even felt that they were talking about me, honestly. To be honest, I felt like, are they talking about me? These guys, are they gossiping me? So I really felt bad, and since that day, it's like somebody slapped me or somebody hit my head, and I got the interest of the Swedish language, and immediately I started learning Swedish on my own. Sorry guys, I'm diverting. I started reading Swedish on my own. started to read newspaper that I don't even understand, because then if you live in Sweden, you all know this magazine they call, or newspaper they used to call Metro, that was free. You pick it at the train station or the bus station every morning. It was free. Then you read, you know, news, and also at the back they used to write like chronicles, which actually used to help you know, with the language. So I was so into, and I read the language. So that is why I was like, hey, I have to understand. So the more you learn the language of a country, you feel part of the society, honestly. And that is what the Minister of Migration and Integration is saying, that there is gonna be difficult for you to feel like you belong into a society if you don't understand the language. You can actually be cheated, and then you find that like in anything that you want to do, you have to be asking people to help you, and you might, you know, run into a wrong person, you know. So you guys, for you to fit in the Swedish society, you actually need the language. Honestly, the moment you understand the Swedish language, because I'm talking this from my own experience, is that you feel the freedom, you know, you can read everywhere, you can understand everything. It's like you even feel like a Swede, honestly. So I think now, guys, I know this is gonna be hard for some people because the language itself is not easy, but I don't think there is any easy language, as long as it's not your own mother tongue or the language you find yourself speaking so easy without struggling. Any foreign language is hard, and it's level C, which means you might need to, you know, work and study at the same time. I think that's the best way to do, so that when your time comes for you to get a permanent residence, you just go and write the exam, instead for you to just stay and be waiting, and then maybe that language keep delaying you. So it's better you do it parallel, work and study. One thing about Sweden is that if you want to study the language, if you cannot go to the school every day, like in the morning, um guys, I'm sorry, I'm having a cold, so I'm breathing funny. The weather is strange, so it makes somebody sometimes feel sick. I'm like coughing and stuff. So you can have these all these evening lessons, I think twice a week if I remember. So you can always, you know, learn the language and also work. It's gonna be difficult, but you just have to sacrifice so that this will not delay your permanent residence. Remember that getting a permanent residence is very important, because for you to become a Swedish, you know, citizen, you need first to be having your permanent residence permit. So you guys, yeah, so like I said, so all this, if you analyze what is going on with the working permit, with now the language and also some social studies, then I think getting a Swedish residence is becoming harder than before. But I understand nothing is easy these days. As you can see, the world is changing, everything is changing, things are expensive everywhere. So I mean, it's becoming, it seems as if Sweden is trying to cross its borders, because maybe the pressure, the economy pressure, and we all know, like right now, even in Sweden, yeah. So guys, what I was saying is that the inflation is very high, things are very expensive, so everything is just changing. And yeah, so it's becoming harder and harder, and I think that is the main also the reason that is causing, you know, the permanent residence to be hard. So you guys, if you're planning to come to Sweden, or if you're planning to come here through work or anything, or through marriage or anything, just make sure that you start learning the language, so that by the time you're going to apply for your residence permit, they will not have not they would, maybe they would have started, because like I said, it's gonna start in May next year. So please try to learn your Swedish language, so that the language will not delay you. And like I said, it's not like the Swedish language is very easy, especially if you have a lot of things in your head. I think what made it easier for me is because it was just me then. I was not married, I didn't have kids, I was just free, so I could focus on my school and all those things. But maybe if it was like right now, of course, it would have been more harder, because when you have kids, you have family, you know. So try as much as you can to learn the language by yourself. Even if you go to school, try and learn a word or a sentence every day. That is what I used to do. I'll make sure that I learn one word every day. And then I had a notebook I used to write, and I used to use a dictionary, you know, to translate most of the things. So you guys, yeah, that is it for now. And if you have any questions concerning this, just leave it below. I'll try as much as I can to answer it. So yeah, Sweden is going to implement language and social studies for you to get a permanent residence permit. And according to the news, they might also extend this to getting a Swedish citizenship. So anyway guys, yeah, I hope I was able to cover everything. I mean, the main thing I wanted to say is that for you to get a Swedish permanent residence permit, you might need, or you might be required to know the language to level C. So it's not even level A, B, C, which is a higher level. So you need to start now, read the language, make sure you keep you know, get familiar to the language, so that it will not be easy, it will not be hard, it will be easier for you to get your permanent residence permit. Anyway guys, yes, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll keep you updated if there's any updates about this. And please, if you've not watched my videos concerning the changes of work permit, please, the video is there, go and watch it, so that you have an idea of what is really going on when it comes to Swedish residence permit. Thank you so much for tuning in guys. I see you in my next one. Bye.